here it is, just right out of the weeds. So this truck came with, this is stock, these mirrors here. This one I've already kind of unbolted a little bit. The other one was actually sloppy like that though. So I just, when you sit in the truck, it's a weird design because if you take a look, actually a good part of the mirror, at least a couple inches worth, is actually below the window line. So it doesn't really work well when it's bolted, when it's bolted in place about there. But it sits below the window line, so it's not really a good mirror. It's kind of hard to see out of anyway. And then because of this no draft window, it sits back farther too, and that's almost unavoidable. But so I just wanted to get rid of these mirrors. The one on the driver's side was a bit more broken and sloppy anyway, and just the way they sit and just the way they look. So I just decided to go to a different style mirror. So I've just made a cutout to accommodate it. They're from a 2008 Mitsubishi Endeavor. Not that that matters, but and so I just made a cutout here, and then I've reinforced along here because it's going to pull in through the door and it needs some support so it doesn't bow. These doors are really pretty thin and flimsy, so anywhere where there's any structure needed or any support needed, it needs to be reinforced. So did a little of that. Up here it's pretty good. So just pre-fitting the mirrors and getting that done. I'm gonna have to weld up this hole too because it's got to be filled, and so just pre-fitting all this and getting it ready to go, and then I'll pull the doors and do some body work. Doing a cutout on the passenger side, same as the driver's side. Looks like I got lucky with the fit of the mirrors. When I was at the auto wrecker, I just kind of took a lucky guess at the angle of the door and if the mirror was going to sit properly against it. So I finally got one mounted, and I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. So this is what I was worried about, is just the angle of the door and the angle of the mirror that I bought. And at the auto wrecker, I just kind of eyeballed it and then hoped that it that it might work out. And yeah, super happy that it did. Sits nice and flush right there. And so there's the difference in the mirror and the mirror height. So it doesn't drop down below that window frame edge. It actually sits above. And you're probably saying, why did you go to all the work to just make such a small change? But like I said, the driver's side mirror was already messed up anyway, and I either would have had to try to find a replacement for it, and then I didn't like them anyway, so I thought, why not go for it? Let's make that change. So that's about the only change I'm going to do on this. The body actually is really good. There's just only a couple small areas I'll show you later where I have to do a little bit of body work. And then I'm gonna fill this where the F-350 logo was before. Gonna fill those holes, have a graphic Decal, F-350 Decal instead going on there. And yeah, there we go. It's good so far. So I originally bought this flat deck truck, it's about 5 years ago now. I just bought it so I could take a fifth wheel across the border. Had somebody haul the fifth wheel most of the way, but across the border is tricky. So and then I thought I'd use it a lot more than I did. It just kind of sat. So I got to do something with it, and I got looking at it, and it's a really good runner. But I got looking at the body, and the body's actually, even though it's ugly as hell, it's really straight. Like there's no rust in it. The only rust is kind of right here, and we'll see what I can do with that. I might be able to knock that down to bare metal. So that's the only real rust kind of there. And then there's only just a couple small areas on the body where there's just some small denting. But overall really straight. Even the bumper is just really straight, like not even any dimples of, in it. It's great. So, and you can see I've already refinished that one wheel, so I'm just basically gonna give it a quick paint job. Yeah, the glass is good too, like there's no pits in the glass. All the glass is good. I just changed out these mirrors to some mirrors off of a Mitsubishi Endeavor, because the original mirrors just weren't working for me. They just sit too low on the door. You can't see out of them very well. Just not working really good. So yeah, our rear wheels are refinished already, and front wheel on that side's refinished. On the back, just got pounded a little bit back here, so I'm gonna have to straighten that out a little bit, do something with it, and basically just gonna clean it up and repaint it, put a few decals on it, and we'll see what we end up with. So I dug in a little farther, removed the door because I'm going to paint the jambs. It'll be a different color, and I'll paint the back side of the door as well, clean it up, and get it painted. So I've got it stripped down pretty good. And then I'm kind of eating my words because I said there was just a little bit of rust right there. Well, it's not all the way through, but there is rust in this channel here. I've cleaned it out a bit I'll clean it out a bit more, and then I put some undercoating on there, but there is a little bit of a rust hole there. It's kind of hard to see it. You can kind of see some daylight there. And so I've put some undercoating on it, and then I've already made a patch. Patch is just going to weld in place, right like that. And then we'll undercoat and maybe do some rust converter as well along this channel. Rust converter and then undercoat, and just to try to prevent it from getting any worse. But that's the extent of the metal repair. I'm not going to get too much farther into it for this truck. And the passenger side, it did look better, and once I peeled it apart, it is better. The driver's side was worse. So after I cleaned this up a little bit, it's not looking too bad. No big rust holes. It gets a pass. How about that? We're gonna give it a pass. Same thing. Shoot it with some undercoating and move on. All right, well, a little bit of undercoating action, and then new metal, and then just some long strand fiberglass filler around any open spots or welds. Undercoating on there, and then these hinges are a little bit loose. There's some play in these hinges, so maybe a trip to the auto wrecker to see if we can acquire a new set of a used set of those, and that'll take the play out of that door and make it fit a little nicer. Gonna pull this one outside now and do some engine degrease on this guy. We've got a valve cover leak, looks like valve cover leak to me here, so maybe put another half turn on some of those valve cover bolts and we'll clean it up. It's an excellent runner. I've never really had to do anything to it actually. I haven't put many miles on it either, but so far so good. I think this air cleaner is going to come out of there. It's rusty, and put a new filter on there, and then maybe give that a little coat of paint on that, and see if we can get this engine bay looking a little bit cleaner. And then this hood's got to come off because I'm not going to paint it when it's on the truck. It's just too far to reach for this guy. So doors off, and they'll be painted separately from the body. First will be the doors and the hood, and then afterwards we'll do the rest of the body. And just debating whether or not to, this bumper's got to go either like a satin black, or it's got to go orange with the rest of the body. Oh yeah, I didn't mention it's going to be orange. It's going to go orange with the rest of the body. So I'm not really sure which is going to be better, but I think I'll shoot the orange first, and then if I hate it I can mask it and do the satin black instead if I don't like it. And away we go. Okay, so inner doors the next morning, and deep orange, it's called deep orange. So it's like a darker orange. I do like the color. Just a single stage urethane orange, and happy with how these worked out. Just gotta unmask. Today is flip and do the other side of the doors and do the hood of the truck, and then prep. Start doing some prep as well, hopefully on the truck itself. We'll see how it goes. So these are the times I wish I had my plasma cutter again. I think I just went through more zip wheels in 35 minutes than I go through usually in a year. But it's off. That's the main thing. That's 35 minutes of my life I'll never get back. But perfect. Now we can get a little bit better shot at the back here. You can see with the black, they just kind of blasted it in as far as they could. And so we'll be able to get a bit farther in. We're going to still have some problems down this crack, of course, but we're not going to get too fancy. bugs. Okay, so I spoke too soon. A little fruit fly got in there, but at least when he got in there, he just stayed. The big bugs are horrible because they get in there and they've got lots of muscle, and they just are determined to drag themselves through your whole paint job to get free. At least this guy, he looks like he only traveled a short little distance. So, and then we got one more over here. And he didn't travel much at all. He kind of came in once the paint was already dry. So he'll be easy to get out of there. So I'm happy with that. I'm happy with only 2 bugs. I thought there was going to be 0 bugs, but they snuck in after. Anyway, hood and doors done. Just doing the Decal installation on the hood here. I got passenger left side done, and then just doing the other side now. My battery died on this damn camera again, so I'm just gonna do a little high-speed action on the rest of it maybe. They are not perfect. There are little tiny bubbles here and there, but you're not going to notice it, that's for sure. Then the door handle as well is the matte black too. Change that to matte black. And the other one's over here. Just have to take the masking off of it, and then we can hopefully throw some doors on. I just wanted to do those when it was off. Same with the hood decal. I can't imagine doing this and having to reach over the hood. I guess you'd have to have ladders set up on 3 sides, but even still, I think it would be a hell of a tough one to do. Anyway, we'll get the hood on, get the doors on, and then I've got more decals that are going on the sides of the doors as well, that run down they start at the front fender, run down the door on both sides, and then some F-350 decals too. And that's about it for stickers. So I don't know if you saw this or noticed it on that first walk around, but this bumper is supposed to look like that, and it's bent in pretty good. I got in there with a couple different jacks and tried to see if I could push it out. Let me just get around to the inside, but it's not working too well. It's like 1/4 inch, and it just seems to want to spring back. So I made a little line in there. I'm just going to do a little zip cut, a relief cut on that to make it thinner, so that when I push on it, it'll actually try to bend back. We'll see how it works, and if it works at all, or if I make a mess. So I ended up cutting the piece right out because it's just not straightening the way I want it to. I did get this part by the tail light on the corner straightened out pretty good now. Just doing lots of small cuts. But this piece of diamond plate is just 1/4 inch diamond plate. It's so hard to straighten this, and it's just bent in so many different directions. So I've kind of got no choice. I'm just gonna make some cuts on the back here. You can see where I marked a pen, and see if I can fix it up. Okay, so come down the side here. It's not too bad. It's not perfect, but it should do the trick. And then I just welded it from behind, and then the front I didn't weld because I want to try to match that diamond plate look. I don't want it to look like there's a big patch here afterwards, so I just filled it with body filler, and the areas that were cut through, and then what I'll do is just give it a sand afterwards, and and hopefully that diamond plate profile will look the same. And once I get some Bedliner on top of it too, that hides a bit as well, and then hopefully you won't notice that it's been completely removed and then reattached. That's the plan. Just did a skim coat on this flat deck, just on this top 5 inches, and then the side 5 inches here. Just wanted to carry the orange color through back to the flat deck a bit, just to make it look like it belongs. Most of it's going to be just Bedliner, but I wanted to get some of the orange color on the truck here, or on the deck on the back, sorry. And so it was just a skim coat, of body filler, and then sanded it, got it as flat as I could, and not too picky again, just fast and quick. You know, it's a work truck, so I don't want to spend too much time on it. So I think I'll just get some primer on there, get some paint on right after the primer, and be done with this part of it. All right, and another one down. So yeah, just the edges are orange, and then the Bedliner for the rest. And went to the auto wrecker today and picked up some new inner door seal for the driver's side because it was not looking too good. And these hinges just got tons of play in them. So I found some at the wrecker, and I'll change those out before it gets painted. Just did all the body work. There was where the F-150 decal was. Just had to weld up and fill those holes. So besides that, just kind of in the footwell area here, inner door, there was some work just because of all the pitting and some rust spots that had to be filled. And so it's all masked up now. Scuffed the bumper. Gonna prime that and paint that black or orange, not quite sure yet. Still, I think black. And a little bit more work in here. And then body's pretty straight though. There was just a few small areas that needed some work. So everything's masked up now, and we'll just get this in primer and then see what we got, and then hopefully shoot it tonight with paint. Let's do it.
Ran away with my life, fast forward, never turn back again. It's kind of funny that the more we pass time, the more we need to set them rewind. And 19 was the year I had to leave you, but now I'm seeing all the signs. Is this really happening? I can't believe it's true. I'm just as surprised as you. Is this really happening? I can't be too sure, but one day I'll be yours again. Life lessons come one in a dozen. The other 11 get something from nothing. I sit here looking for an answer. Maybe the biggest question was in the last chapter. You gave me the soul I have today. Without you I never could have moved away. But now I see what you teach. I do believe I always should have stayed. Yeah. Is this really happening? I can't believe it's true. I'm just as surprised as you. Is this really happening? I can't be too sure, but one day I'll be yours again. One day I'll be yours. One day I'll be yours. One day I'll be yours. Life lessons come one in a dozen. The other 11 get something from nothing. Life lessons come one in a dozen. The other 11 get something from nothing. Life lessons come one in a dozen. The other 11 get something from nothing. Life changes just open the door. One thing's certain, I'll always be yours.
Well, I screwed up and I forgot to set up the camera for the painting, but it's basically the same as doing the primer, except it's color. Got lucky and the bugs left me alone. And then I decided to do the bumper in orange. If I change my mind, I can always do it in black later, I guess. But yeah, I'm happy that the bugs gave me a break and they didn't drag their bodies through my paint work, and so I'm happy. I don't really see any places where I hung any. Oh, there's one. That was one hung one run right there, but that's the only one, so that's nice. Sand that out real quick and give it a polish, and that's it. Let's put it back together.
At 29 and I find myself wondering, what did happen to the last 10? I ran away with my life, fast forward, never turn back again. It's kind of funny that the more we pass time, the more we need to set them rewind. And 19 was the year I had to leave you, but now I'm seeing all the signs. Is this really happening? I can't believe it's true. I'm just as surprised as you. Is this really happening? I can't be too sure, but one day I'll be yours again. Life lessons come one in a dozen. The other 11 get something from nothing. I sit here looking for an answer. Maybe the biggest question was in the last chapter. You gave me the soul I have today. Without you I never could have moved away. But now I see just as surprised as you. Is this really happening? I can't be too sure, but one day I'll be yours again. One day I'll be life lessons come one in a dozen. The other 11 get something from nothing. Life lessons come one in a dozen. The other 11 get something from nothing. Life lessons come one in a dozen. The other 11 get something from nothing. Life changes just open the door. One thing's certain, I'll always be yours. Is this really happening? I can't believe it's true. I'm just as surprised as you. Is this really happening? I can't be too sure, but one day I'll be yours. Is this really happening? I can't believe it's true. I'm just as surprised as you. Is this really happening? I can't be too sure, but one day I'll be yours.
All right, so that hood was a lot of adjusting, a lot of work to try to get that to come around. It was not aligned properly when I took it apart, so I knew when I put it back that I was gonna have some work in front of me, and I don't have experience with aligning body panels and just minimum amount, and so it was quite a bit of work for me. I had to actually shim out the fenders a bit. I had to do an adjustment on the fenders on both sides. Regular hood hinge, but also the up and down. You can do an adjustment for the height as well, so I had to adjust that as well. Left to right, all kinds of adjustments. It's okay now. It's not perfect. It's a long ways from perfect. I got the headlight bezels painted in just a satin black, and then the grill satin black. These headlights, it's just so worth it in my opinion to do it, because you could get them on eBay for it's like $115 or something like that. Not very much, but to put the old faded, chalked up headlights and markers in my opinion, let me turn them on. Let me turn the markers on for you anyway. So, in my opinion, it just adds just a more modern look to it. Brings the truck more into the, I don't know, at least the 2010s. And being clean and new, it just gives the truck a fresh look. So did those, and then also the smoked cab lights, just to kind of make it go along with it. This aluminum windshield trim ring, I'm going to back mask this orange and the windshield, and it's going to be a matte black as well. It looks out of place. Windshield wiper blades, just a quick shot to make them look bright and new, and then new blades to go with them. Antenna got painted. This door over here is already back on. I've got my Alaska stake cut out here where my aftermarket mirror is going to go, and did the matte black on these. Got to do a little cleanup here to make this, where the masking is, look a little cleaner. So did the matte black or satin black as well on door handles. Got rid of the chrome there. This door, I didn't make any changes to it as far as the hinges go. So when I went to put this door back on, it was a little bit, put it on and then loosened the bolts, made one adjustment, and then bam, had it. And it went really easy. This door over here, I decided, because the old hinges had a lot of play on them, so before I would be able to pull up on this door and it there was lots of play in it. And so I thought, well, I'll go to the wrecker and I'll get some hinges. So I did get some hinges and I changed them out and I put them in on what I thought was the exact same spot that they should have been in before. So I matched it up to where the old ones were for what I thought, real close, and closed the door and just put the door on, and just nowhere nowhere close. So I've had the door on and off now, because in order to adjust these hinges, to adjust the movement of the door this direction, top and bottom, you have to take the door off in order to get to those hinges. I don't know if there's anybody that knows an easier way to do it, but 4 times I've had the door on and off now, and still, I left last night and thought, no, I'm not gonna do this. And still, I mean, the overlap here and the gap here, it's ridiculous. So, I mean, this tells me that this hinge needs to go that direction, but also the gap here tells me that we need to go up. But if I look at my gap here already looks pretty good. The gap actually looks not bad. Well, it's a little wide there. So anyway, so the door's got to go this direction, so that's the next step. But I just got frustrated with it, so I needed a break from doing that. And so I might mess with that a little bit today, and then maybe put in the stereo. I got a cheapy $20 on eBay stereo. I don't know what a $20 stereo sounds like. They sure are small, and they sure are small. It comes with a remote for 20 bucks though. And here it is. It looks like it's missing half, and it weighs like nothing. But for your $20, you get USB outlet for charging. You got auxiliary input. You have a memory card. It's got Bluetooth, so you can do Bluetooth off your phone for music, and it's got hands-free. It's got a built-in microphone over here. So I don't know, and 60 watts. What is it? 60 watts times 4 channel. 60 watts. Comes with the remote. Wow. So check that out and see what that's like. New brake pedal rubber is going to go on too, because the one that's on there is worn, and that's cheap and easy to do. Door handles were Mickey Mouse. They were just, you know, put together with oddball pieces and parts to make it work. So those will get changed out. We got some new tail lights, because these are kind of a step up from what's there. So right there, it's just your basic, you know, marker light and brake light, turn signal, and this one actually has a backup light as well, and they're newer. Once this all gets shot with Bedliner, which I got at Harbor Freight, they had a sale on for $48 a can or something. So I got 2 cans of the truck bed coating, so we'll mask this, we'll shoot all this, and the headache rack, and maybe even use some underneath instead of undercoating for some of the rusty frame. And then this was chrome as well, this rear light, bed light, and so I just shot it again with just the satin black and put it back, just so that everything kind of has some continuity and it looks looks more like it belongs now. So yeah, so today I'll get back at it with a bit more trying to adjust the door and then maybe move on to some other more fun stuff. So after what seemed to be like an eternity, oh, I can't count how many times the door came on and off. That's how many times, I just can't even count. And then I got a little bit of relief when I decided that I would leave the inside hinge adjustment not loose, but loose enough where if I was to actually tap it with a hammer, I could make it move a little. So that way I wouldn't have to take off the door to adjust that inner hinge, because I can't get to the bolts when the door's on unless the fender's off, and I don't want to take the fender off. So that's what I did, and that got me a little bit ahead, but still had to take the door off another 300 times. So there's our gap now. It's pretty good. It's not perfection, but it's pretty good. It's a little bit tighter up here than it is down there, but that could be fender as well. I don't know. But yeah, I'm happy. These body lines line up pretty good as well. So, but wow. Just a lot of messing around. I wasn't expecting that. To change the hinges, I probably, in hindsight, I probably would have just left the crap hinges on there and not bothered. But we're past it now. Moving on. Maybe do some stereo or something, hopefully a little bit more fun next. Back at it again with the stereo. Don't know if you saw the mirrors mounted or not. I got them both on both sides. Got all the window glass in on both sides, and the new door seals, and some used ones that are just cleaned up. And I actually forgot to run speaker wires. I'm going to run them underneath here. So I got to pull this out again one more time, because the $20 stereo is being installed. And last night I kind of jumped on it for a little bit and just got front speakers and power and ground. And so I'm just going to run rear speaker wires and then put it in place. And then we'll have a listen to see what a $20 stereo will give me. And then to fill up the day, I have to still refinish my front right wheel, or front left wheel. This is kind of the layout of the decals. Just sitting here, just a stripe on this side, just to break up this orange a little bit. It's just a lot of orange. And going with a decal for the F-350 instead of the chrome badge that's normally on there. There's a finished wheel, and then the one over here that still needs to be cleaned up. And I'll show you what I do to kind of clean up wheels without removing the tire from the rim and doing a clean job of it, and then they come out quite nice. There it is, installed. I got the Bluetooth to connect to my phone without having to use the auxiliary jack, so that's nice. There's even USB charging, and the Bluetooth is pretty strong because I was like 20 feet away and it was still connected to my phone, so that's good. Trying to say the good things first. I don't know what's going on. Rear speakers, I hooked up rear speakers, but when I have the balance set at 0, or fade, sorry, set at 0, front to back, the rear speakers do come on a bit, but because the rear speakers behind the seat, I need to increase the volume on the rears and decrease the volume on these side speakers. So I have sound coming out of them, just not loud enough when I have the balance set equally. As I fade towards the rear, I lose. All right, time for some Bedliner action. So I just kind of got the wire wheel and masked off these fifth wheel plates here because they're already black and I don't want any buildup on them of bed coating. And back here it's definitely not perfect, but the idea was just to get anything loose off of here, any loose paint, loose rust. There's still rust there, but the idea here will be to try to encapsulate the rust with bed coating so that it just freezes it. Hopefully it just stays like that and doesn't come back too quick. And same with the back here, just lots of wire wheel just to get any of the loose crap off, and all masked off and ready to go. And this is the headache rack here, same thing, just hit it with a wire wheel and then did some sanding on the outer bar here, mostly just hoping that the Bedliner will lay down and do a lot of hiding, but I'm afraid that in some of these areas where I want it to look a bit better, I did a bit more sanding because I think that it may show a lot more may show a lot more like the uneven paint and that kind of thing. So there it is. We'll shoot this. I got this set up so that I can do both sides at once, and then I'll mount it after and weld it back on after. And that's about it for now. I'm gonna try to shoot it with a shoots gun, and it is Harbor Freight. Well, I got it at Harbor Freight. It's not Harbor Freight brand. It's Iron Armor truck bed coating, and it says that you can thin it up to 25% with acetone. So I got some acetone to thin it with, and hopefully we'll get it thin enough that we can shoot it through that shoots gun, through the undercoating gun, and it'll go on pretty easy. And I got 2 cans. I'm hoping, kind of thinking I might only need 1, but we'll see. I've got the extra one anyway if I need it. Away we go. Okay. Bedliner sprayed. It's not too bad. Got to put in some taillights soon here. It's hard when you're spraying it to actually see if there's areas where it's light. With this diamond plate, when you're shooting the coating from this angle, there's actually areas on the backside, the raised backside, where it didn't get enough material on there. So there's a couple light spots where, like you can see, I don't know if you can see here, right there, it's a bit light. And so there's a couple spots that I noticed, but only after it dried. Right through here even. A couple spots where it needs to be touched up. I saved a little bit. I used a lot. I used 1 full gallon and then 2/3 of the second gallon. I did not think I was going to go through that much, but anyway, so these fifth wheel plates afterwards kind of look shitty in comparison to the new black decking, so I just masked them off real quick and shot them as well, just to kind of make them match the truck. And then I'm probably gonna have to do the same with the fifth wheel hitch here, clean it up as best I can anyway, maybe paint some of the rusty spots because it's gonna look out of place. The headache rack here, it's not so bad. It's so heavy. I got to get it into the back of this truck, and I forgot I was going to mask these tips because I got to weld them. So now I got to clean them up to bare metal, where I got to weld these two, and then over here I got to weld these as well. So I got to clean them up. I had to touch this grate portion up with just some semi-gloss black, because again I was shooting down, and then if you looked from the bottom up, it was you could still see where there was, it didn't get any bed liner on it. So that's painted. Let that dry, put that back on, and weld that in place is the plan, and we'll get at it once again. Just putting the rack back on here now. It's already been welded on the other side, and I managed to have somebody stop by and help me lift it on there because it's like the heaviest thing ever. So yeah, that was nice. Got that side welded, and now I've cleaned this area up so that I can weld it, and then I'm just gonna have to run some undercoat or some bed liner, I guess, on there afterwards to clean it up. Nice day. June 2nd. Beauty. The windshield molding, bezel, whatever you call it, needed to be black, and a lot of masking just to do that little bit of trim, but it's got to be done. We can't have it aluminum color when everything else is blacked out. And then I found these taillights on eBay, and they're pretty cheap. I think I got 2 of them, 2 LED taillights for $28 or something like that. And they have backup light and then marker and brake light as well. So 4-wire. And they'll just be nice and clean and simple on the back. And that's all we need. I might have to put in a license plate, goes here. Might have to put in a license plate light too to be legal, I guess. probably caught my mistake I did after. I should have marked the height I wanted the decal before with masking tape. I've done that before. I don't know why I skipped that this time, but yeah, just a piece of masking tape just to give you a guide so that you know, I guess I didn't think it was going to be as difficult. I wanted to be 2 inches off of that lower body line, door line. And yeah, I just thought it would be super easy and I wouldn't need tape, I guess. And then I just couldn't get it right. So then finally I did put some tape on. Decals are on. You know, I was kind of fighting with whether to put that F-350. You know, you saw that logo up higher or down lower. Originally on these trucks, it's about that position, maybe a little farther back. But that's originally where it is. Back and forth, back and forth. I don't think it really made that much difference either way, but I went with that lower one. Try to pull it into that lower graphic a bit more. And so the next thing is just working on some wheels. I've got one last front wheel to do here. And so first thing is just to clean it up real nice. Get any grease and oil and stuff. I use Super Clean. I put Super Clean on the dirty wheel first by itself without water even. Just soak it in straight Super Clean, non-diluted. And then take your pail of soapy water and your scrubby pad, your abrasive scrubby, and then after you've let it sit for a couple, 3-4 minutes, and then just scrub the heck out of it, and then you come up with a really nice black tire. I do that anytime I want a black tire. Works great. So comes out looking like brand new. You wouldn't know the difference. So on this, I'm going to sand it all down out of 80 grit, so it looks like I'm stuck with 120 grit. I wish I could start with 80 or even 60 on some of this rust. So sand it all down, get it all smooth. I'll use the DA sander where I can, but a lot of it ends up being hand sanding because you just can't get a sander in there. So it's elbow grease to make it look good. Any high spots, you got to knock them down. This rim isn't the worst of the ones I've done. This isn't too bad, so hopefully doesn't take me too long to get through it. Okay, so 2 coats of primer, and it's looking pretty good. I ran out of paint filters, so I didn't run this through a filter, and I paid the price. So there we go. Blah, blah. Besides that, pretty good. I forgot to mask the stem. So either, I don't know, I backmask it and paint it black, or I just leave it silver. We'll see. I don't care that much. And let this set up, and then I'll give that a sand where that little blah is. So I'm not too concerned about it. Sand that guy flat. And then hit it with, I just got rattle can. The paint is called, a lot of times they call it chrome in a can, or silver. What's this one called? Metallic silver. So this is Rust-Oleum, metallic silver, titanium here, titanium silver. So it's good. It goes on pretty good. The spray nozzle on these work pretty good as well. So I just use a spray bomb for these, and it'll come out looking nice, a little bit metallic, and it's pretty nice. I'll show you this, the painting of the wheel with the silver too. And now we get to take the masking off. Sorry, it's probably loud. Probably loud. Oh, come on. Stuck real good. Jeez. Sheesh. Okay, and then there's a little bit of glue remnants left behind. That isn't overspray, that's just glue from the tape that you see there. And it can be just regular paint thinner, just on a cloth, and it will take that up real quick. Just be careful that you don't have that your paper towel or your rag is not really wet with thinner so that it's running into your new paint. Just dampen the cloth and then just run over the tape portions there. Anyway, I need two hands to do this. Oh, there we go, I got some more going. So yeah, it's just a little bit of tape remnants there, and we'll wipe that off right away. You could even wait, you know, do this at the end of your day and wait till the next day, and then you have less chance of messing up your new paint. I want to get this bolted on the truck tonight because I got to get the truck inside. Got it halfway in the door. I wasn't really thinking about it, but I'd like to get it on, mounted, and then I can back this truck back up into the shop. All right. Freshened up this fifth wheel hitch a bit, just give it a little bit of flat black or satin black, I guess, and we'll pop it back on. Finished up the interior. I still got to do some cleaning, but put in a headliner and all the molding pieces that go with it so that we hid that yellow, the old yellow paint, so the yellow paint's not visible anymore. Thing that sucks though is there's been a water drip underneath, and looks like I'm doing a water pump. So that's a big enough job, I guess. Probably going to take me the better part of the day, I think. And water pump is here. When I bought the truck about 5 years ago, the guy I bought it from did mention something. He said that his mechanic thought the next thing that had to be done was probably a water pump, but I didn't notice, at that time I didn't notice anything, no drips or anything, so I thought, maybe the mechanic just misdiagnosed it, saw something dripping from somewhere else. But it turns out it looks like it does need one. It's dripping lots now. So that's what we're after today. Get that done and move forward, but almost done. Not much left to do now. I added another, the hitch was too high on this. It was like you had to use a 12-inch drop in order to be able to get that ball height to about 18 inches. So I added another receiver tube and then some black LED lights and a license plate light. These LED lights just weren't bright enough. There just wasn't enough. So I added a second set there as well. And this receiver tube is sitting at a much better level there now, but that was still a lot of work yesterday, a lot of welding on your back, but better now for sure. So time to get after a water pump. Yay. All right, so pump is out, and now just gonna clean up this face on here really good idea I saw on YouTube is just to take a couple guide bolts, take a couple bolts and lop the head off of them and just screw them in place as your first two bolts, like so. And then you can just take the water pump and just slide it onto those two bolts, and that way you know that your gasket is going to line up properly and not slip. Slide it onto those, get your other bolts in place, and then just ease these out because they're longer, they're easy to get. Ease these out and then put the ones in there that are supposed to go in there. So that's why we watch YouTube before we do jobs. It was never like that when I was a young punk. There was no YouTube, you just guessed, and then things like a reverse threaded fan would throw you off so bad. You'd end up killing yourself to try to take it off regular left hand style. It was a hell of a time getting it off though. This is the hub right here for the threaded hub, reverse thread for the fan. And there's apparently a tool that you can get, tool kit that you can get to make it easier to take it off. But what I did is I just pulled the water pump off with the fan on it, and then took it over the bench, and it was on there like hello, like crazy. So there it is there. There's no corrosion or anything, but it was on there. So did it in a vise and got it off, and so now it's just clean it up, put the new water pump in, and yeah, I'll probably just let the silicone sit overnight. I'm going to use the new gasket along with some RTV blue, and just let it sit overnight and set up, and then fill it full of some new coolant tomorrow, and then fire up, get it hot, see if it leaks. Hopefully not. Okay, so we got the surface all cleaned up, and we got our pegs on ready to mount the water pump. Boys, this truck has 91,000 kilometers on it, and I've always just kind of wondered if that's actual kilometers. And there's some things that make me think that it is, and then there's some things I'm like, well, if it needs a water pump, then 90,000 kilometers, it doesn't sound right. But you know, things like the seat, that's an original seat, you know, it's not horribly worn. And then I look at the door cards here, and it is a little bit shiny here, like it looks like there's been an arm on there for lots of miles. So is that 91,000 kilometers? I don't know. But then with the water pump, when I took it out, I found, you know, usually they start leaking because the bearing here gets bad. But on this one, there's no play at all in that bearing. It is like, it's friggin' solid. It's in the vise right now, but so like there's no play in there. So I think that the failure on this was just because of it sitting for so long, and that seal in there just eventually went bad. It was weeping out of this weep hole down here, so it was weeping out of there, but not because of it, not because of extreme wear. I think more from it just sitting. So maybe the water pump, you know, thing doesn't, the water pump being bad doesn't have an effect on the mileage. 91,000, I don't know. Comment if there's another way that you know of to determine the mileage. I mean, you know, compression test on a diesel, I don't know. My buddy said, you know, if it's a strong diesel, it should start with no glow plugs, and it did. Cold start in the morning, no glow plugs, cranked it over, And it did start without glow plugs, so maybe that's a good thing too. Well, I think we're gonna call it done. Took it for a test drive a couple days ago and hit the brakes real hard just to make sure that they were working, and I popped a brake line, and so I fixed that brake line, and then there was another one that was bad, so I fixed both of those now, bled them through. I think I might need to bleed them one more time, but the brakes seem okay now. And of course, that water pump went in. It's good, no leaks, everything's working good there. Did just a cleanup of the interior. It's still a 1992 interior for sure, but it's not too bad. And then here's our job box on the back, and it's bolted in. Had to bolt it in place. A little bit dark here today. I should probably pull it in the sun and take another walk around here. A bit better out in the light. It's not a sunny day, it's kind of cloudy, but a little more light so you can see a little bit better.